Hello leaders, how you guys doing? Hey, I know this is my third video, 3 weeks in a row for you guys, but we have so much happening that I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with what we got going on. Also, fun fact, this is my fourth attempt at this video. First time for you, but this is my fourth attempt. So here we go. The first thing is last week, I heard a lot of feedback from you guys and I felt it myself that it was pretty chaotic during our programming. We're still going to keep the small groups first, but something we're doing to help so that it's not as chaotic as it was is we're going to go back to having that kind of 15 minutes of people showing up and hanging out. And then so it'll be 6:30 to 6:45, they're hanging out. 6:45, we'll go straight to small groups. The music will start, you guys will go straight to small groups, and then it'll be 45 minutes small groups. So we'll start programming still at 7:30. So there will be no buffer in between. What that means for you is do your best to have your group end at 7:30, which means if you get done early, try your best to keep going or just to stay in your small group room because we don't want to distract other groups and make them rowdy. So if you have to end a couple minutes early like that, you know, if it's 2-3 minutes early, that's fine, but just let's make sure we're staying as close to 7:30 as possible. And then you might even want to have a timekeeper between your co-leaders if your group maybe is running a little bit long, just as you get right around that 7:28, 7:29, someone that's kind of giving you like 5-minute warning, 3-minute warning, making sure that groups are ending at 7:30 so we can, as much as possible, and there's going to be a little bit of variance, it's not going to be perfect, but as much as possible we can come in at 7:30 together and just get started right away in worship with our program. So that's going to help us hopefully so that we're kind of keeping that attention funnel and things aren't getting too chaotic. The second thing is in your small groups, something that I'm going to ask you guys to start doing and which really would just be helpful for your small groups is start laying the foundation for groups at the very beginning. Some of you guys already do this, but when you do it on an every week basis, it's really helpful. I try my best, but I get out of rhythm with it of setting the expectations and the foundation for how I want students to act at the big group. But if you do that in your small groups, both for small groups and the night, they're either going to get double messaging from you guys and from me, or they'll get that kind of framework for you. So it's not just expectations, but it's also kind of framing conversation. And let me give you a quick example of what I mean by that. So framing the conversation, it might look like this. Hey guys, we expect you to be kind and respectful to one another. That means that we want you guys, part of being respectful and being listening means that we have our phones away. So I know you guys like having your phones, but I'm going to ask you to keep them in your pocket. I'm going to take them if I see them. The reason we do that during the message and the reason we do that during small groups is because we want you guys to focus on each other and hopefully what God has for you to learn. Also, if you're interrupting or talking on the side or making fun of someone, we're going to stop you from interrupting and make sure that you're paying attention. And the reason, again, we're doing that is because we want everyone in here to feel heard. And then you're like, and part of that is we have small groups first, and we want to get to know about your guys' lives. We want you guys to open up and share about what you're going through, what God's doing in your life, the mountains and valleys that you experience. So, yeah, maybe you're not used to this, but we want you guys to share about your life and have the freedom to open up and share what you're going through. And then tonight, we're going to be talking about, this week it happens to be Solomon, but you can even frame that. And if we have time after, talking about each other's lives, we'll talk a little bit about Solomon and how he's a man who had it all, but at the end of his life felt like it was all meaningless because he forsaked God in the process of having everything, except for the one thing that mattered. So that's what framing a small group looks like, or giving kind of this groundwork for it so that students can understand oh, okay, here's why you have these expectations. Here are the expectations, that we're kind, that we're considerate, that we're listening. And here's even a little bit what you want group to be about. Like you want us to share about our lives and you want us to talk a little bit about the message. So setting that framework helps students understand and have clarity around what they're doing in small group. The message topic is, again, Solomon and a man who had it all. So you can look forward to that tomorrow. The next thing is, I know we've had a lot of new leaders. I just want to say thank you guys so much for being adaptable, helping these leaders feel comfortable, kind of setting an example for them. The goal is that we would take these leaders and start feeding them into groups. And with some of these groups that are 20 plus kids, that we would get 4 leaders in there and split to being 2 separate groups. You'll have to split in your small group room for now, which I get can sometimes be a little bit crowded. But the hope in this is that now you have 2 groups of 8 to 12 as opposed to a massive group of 22 where you feel like you can't get anything accomplished. So yeah, and then we also have a lot of people that are going to start being support staff. So you'll start seeing some of those people on Wednesday night doing setup, greeting, maybe some people running snack bar, doing cleanup, doing security. And as you see some of those people, I'll kind of give you more explanation of like how they're going to help out, and even that they can hopefully give you guys more freedom to be just present small group leaders on Wednesday night. And then lastly is we are going back to Camp Geneva this summer. Now, some of you might have heard me say, and if you haven't heard this, then ignore what I'm about to say, but that there's things about Geneva that aren't my favorite. As far as like matching what I'm trying to achieve for our culture here at Westbridge students, there are things that Geneva does that I feel like are countercultural to what we're trying to accomplish. And those still exist. And I've said this, that I want to run my own camp, and I still do. But just with my margin right now and where we're at, I feel like it's not the right timing to run our own camp. My hope is that 2025 will be the right time to do our own camp. But Geneva is by far the cheapest camp. They allow us to bring our whole group to a camp, which most of the other camps don't. You have to sign up as an individual. And so there are some things that aren't perfect about Geneva, but I actually am excited to go back. The students are really hyped on it. They had a great experience last year. They know what to expect. They love it. They built a brand new facility that has like a pool and all this amazing, like a big old hot tub and all this amazing stuff. So it is an awesome camp, and I'm going to announce that soon that we're going back to Geneva. So our job is, as leaders, to be excited about that. Even if you personally were looking forward to not doing Geneva, that's what we're going to do this year. And then my hope, again, like I said, 2025, that we will do our own camp. So that's all I got for you guys this week. I just want to say, again, thanks so much for constantly being adaptable and working with me. I feel like there's a lot of positive momentum happening right now, and you guys are kind of the groundwork of embracing that and making it happen, and hopefully getting the best program we can, so that as these students walk in, that they would get to receive a little bit about who Jesus is and how he cares about them and wants to work in their life, and that hopefully they experience some transformation as a part of being in our group and feeling loved. So thank you guys for who you are. Appreciate you more than you know.